Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Pick Me Up podcast. We are brewing a better lifestyle, one podcast at a time, and I'm your host, Eva Curie. Follow me on Instagram at the Pick Me Up Pod, and feel free to subscribe and listen to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Today, we are chatting with a wonderful woman from Ontario, Canada. She is a business mindset coach that helps entrepreneurs overcome imposter syndrome in order to grow business and improve quality of life. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jill Parekh. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me, Eva. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Great. Yeah. We have to start off with a coffee question because the Pick Me Up, that's just what we do. Your go-to coffee drink or go-to order or home brew, what would it be?
You know what? Like, this is really stereotypical of me, but I like Starbucks caramel macchiato. And you know what? It's just a classic. It's a
It is a
classic,
classic.
and I will never not enjoy a good caramel macchiato. It's going to be the summer soon, so I'm sticking with that.
I think that is my go-to summer drink. Like I'll have
Love that.
I'll have one overarching drink that I'll get like no matter what season.
hmm
But then the caramel macchiato just reigns the winner in the summertime. Ah, it's so
Totally.
good. It's just so good.
Totally.
So let's get into what you do. So you specialize in helping business owners overcome imposter syndrome. So for
hmm
listeners who probably don't know what that is, I'll let the professional handle the explanation. But how does this idea become how did this idea become the focus for your career and for the business?
That's a great question. So I started out in university and I had just this feeling, this like overwhelming feeling of like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, do I even belong here? I just got in. Like, I remember when I got into my master's program and I was sitting in the classroom and they were talking about how there was a list of people to get in. And this guy was saying how his friend didn't get in. And I went, what? Like they're just not letting everybody in here. And that's when I really realized, like, oh my God, do I have imposter syndrome? And it's not as scary as it sounds. Like it's not like a syndrome. It's literally just a dysfunctional way of thinking. So you think that you are fooling people. You think you're not as smart as you actually are. You think that somebody is going to call you out. So you kind of have this fear that you're going to be called out or revealed as a fraud and that you're not actually as smart or capable or anything that you're showing yourself to be. And that you're really just a hard worker or you got lucky or something like that. So when I was going through university and then I started my career in corporate, which I actually just recently put in my 2 weeks notice for my job. So I'm really excited going full time in my business, which has been
Congratulations. That's so
Thank
exciting.
you. Thank you. It's been 3 years since I've been doing the online business in association with my full-time job. So it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited about it. But even in corporate, it was coming up too. I would be more than capable to do tasks and things, but I still didn't feel good enough, or I felt that somebody was going to call me out and be like, hey, you're not as smart as you think you are. And then, oh my gosh, when I started an online business, it's all about talking about yourself, talking about your accomplishments, putting yourself out there and showing people, hey, I can help you. And if you feel like an imposter, it's going to be so hard to do that because
Right.
you just don't think that you can talk about your accomplishments and you feel like you're bragging or talking too much about yourself. And, as a woman, you're always taught to like be humble and not say anything and all this stuff. So it's really hard to explain in terms of like the umbrella that imposter syndrome really has over being an entrepreneur, but like 70% of people experience imposter syndrome in their life. So it's not even just being an entrepreneur, but everybody at some time in their life can be impacted by imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I originally come across your Instagram and I saw imposter syndrome. That is something that I've been like looking into, not necessarily as of recent. I think it's been like a good like year or two because I touched on so many like not triggering words, but like key words. It's just like women taught to be humble and like not really show off all your accomplishments and stuff. And like the university thing too. I didn't think I was going to get into the college that I have been attending for the past 4 years just because of like, I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think like I had the skills or the knowledge, whatever, to get in. But I mean, here we are, here you are. And it's just so crazy that we have that. And yeah, it's not as scary as you think, but, or as we think, or as other people think, but it is so like, it is such a big barrier that people have, that they think that they're not going to be able to accomplish what they can accomplish, even though they have the skills, wisdom, and so on and so forth to really do anything. And I think it's just amazing what you do for business owners, for women, to just overcome that. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really something that I think is extremely subconscious. So like a part of the work that I do is really like uncovering those subconscious stories that live beneath the surface of why you believe that you're a fraud, or why you believe that you're not competent or capable or good enough. And a lot of stuff can be traced back to our childhood and generational experiences and stuff like that. So a lot of the work that I do is getting to the root of why you feel like a fraud and why you don't feel good enough, and then pulling out and disproving all of that stuff so you can really be your best, most authentic self.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So I just want to change gears a little bit and go into a question. So just a little bit of backstory, y'all, all the listeners. I had to write all this down because I could not, for the life of me, remember all of Jill's qualifications that she has done. So you are certified in neuro-linguistic programming,
Yep.
emotional freedom techniques, time techniques, and you're also certified in clinical hypnotherapist. You're also a clinical therapist, hypnotherapist.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Words. Breathwork facilitator, and are trained in Reiki, which for my research is like a Japanese alternative medicine form.
Yes.
Okay. So first, how did you have time to do any of that? Because that is just incredible, and incredible qualifications, and seems extremely difficult. And also, how do those certifications and how did all of that like knowledge and studying and so on and so forth help you in the work that you are doing today?
And I also want to say that before all of this, I have a psychology university degree and an interpersonal conflict master's degree. So before all of that stuff, I did like the legitimate schooling. It's okay. I actually don't even think I have it up there because I'm just like, okay, this is way too much. But
you are so qualified.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I was going to take the route of being a therapist, but I just decided like there is a glass ceiling for therapists in terms of what they can, like how much they can make. They're always supervised. I was like, fuck that. I don't want that. Oh, I hope I can swear on here.
You're fine.
I was like, I don't want that in my business to be like supervised and all that stuff. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna be a coach. So that all started my like love for like knowledge and education and everything and certification. And then, so how I use neuro-linguistic programming is really just, again, understanding the subconscious mind, which is where all of our beliefs and thoughts live. So our subconscious is responsible for 99.996% of our daily action, thoughts, and behaviors. Everything that we do is a result of those subconscious thoughts and beliefs. And what I realized in doing a lot of the cognitive work, so with the psychology, with the NLP, all that stuff, I realized that it was also energy work, like the somatic work with our physical selves, that was also super important. So that's why I got certified in breathwork and Reiki, because these things really integrate and bring together the cognitive work and the somatic work, because whenever you have a thought, you have a feeling associated to that thought, and that's like the reason why you take a lot of the actions that you do, because you feel a certain way. So how we do this work is we have a thought of I don't feel good enough, and then you feel crappy or shitty, and then you take the self-sabotaging action, like for example, if you're an online entrepreneur, like not showing up on Instagram stories that day, or self-sabotaging your launch or something in that realm. So what we do is we change the cognitive stuff. So we change the way you're thinking and we change those neural pathways, and then we change how you feel, which then influences your action. So it sounds really like scientific and weird, but it's honestly super easy.
Yes, it sounds very scientific. Definitely not weird, but super scientific. But I mean, it sounds like just there's so many like corners to connect in order just to like become your, I guess I don't want to say powerful self because that sounds so corny, but like in order to just unlock all of your strengths that you have and like to be able to
Yes.
utilize all of those in either your day-to-day life or your business or so on and so forth. I mean, I think like a pretty prominent example of this is like when people are on like weight loss journeys, because like people think it's just what you eat and how you work out and you're done. And that is exactly how you lose weight
Yes.
and that's how you make your body better. But no, there's your mental health and there's like the like how often you're going and how much you're invested in it. Not obviously not financially, but like how invested you are in what you are doing and the goals you're doing. And if your goals are not like lined up correctly because of whatever piece is not connected well, you're not going to be able to achieve those goals. And that's exactly what you are doing with your work, which I think is just awesome.
Yes, it's all about how you see yourself because that's your identity. So you have to adopt the identity of that healthy person that wants to lose weight and wants to work on themselves. Because if you just change the action, then you're not actually like becoming that type of person. You're just doing the action, and that's always surface level. So
Mhm.
whenever you're trying to change something, you have to start at the identity level, and that's looking at your thoughts and your beliefs as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to take a quick shift. On your amazing website, by the way, it's like the most aesthetically pleasing
Oh,
website I think
thank
I've ever
you.
been to. Yeah.
Thank you.
All listeners, y'all got to go check it out. It's going to be in the link in comments. Don't
Yes.
worry. But you talk about accessibility and how
Mhm.
important it is for you in your business model to accept like women or anyone from all backgrounds and abilities. So, for you, what does that accessibility and that concept of like having a safe space in your business and in your business model look like?
Yeah, so the reason why accessibility is so important to me is because I am somebody who actually has a speaking disability. So for me, I really realized how much people don't even think about that when it's like an invisible thing. So, like, I was always really ashamed of my stutter and I thought it made me weird, and that's why I wasn't smart enough or good enough. And like, we all have something, whether it's trauma or something that we have to deal with each day, where like we think that's the reason why people won't pay us, why people won't like us, why we're not good enough. And for me, it was the fact that I had a stutter. So it was really important when I was thinking about growing my coaching business that I was thinking about, okay, like how can I be accessible in my content, in the way that I show up on my site, in how can I ensure that the women that come into the space that I'm creating realize like, oh, I'm safe here. Like I'm okay here, and like I can accomplish and like anything and everything that I really want to accomplish. And seeing me accomplish all of these things like makes them realize that they can do that same thing too.
Yeah, that is so so wonderful, and I think I I just really wish that like just when I look at like education, the education system, that like there are opportunities that they do very well in with like not necessarily diagnosing like certain types of learning disabilities or physical disabilities, mental disabilities as well. But they don't like, I guess, give students enough support. Like I personally
Mm.
have been struggling with dyslexia and reading comprehension since childhood, and
Mm-hmm.
there was never like a reason as to like why that was, and like I've always just felt dumb and dumber than people,
Mm-hmm.
and that is just so beyond not it and not right. And just because like we have like a certain disability in our day-to-day life, that doesn't mean that like we like are prevented from like doing anything or achieving certain things. I mean, there are certain ceilings, but those ceilings are breakable. And I think like we
Mm-hmm.
aren't taught well, and like we aren't brought through that well enough to like recognize that when we are young, and then we kind of figure that out once we're older and like we've had more life under our belts, you know.
Exactly. Totally.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's kind of like when I saw that some businesses and like some individuals who are coaches like yourself, like they'll have like accessibility statements or like statements about like just having a safe space, but like yours just really stood out and like you had it at the forefront of like your website and your business model, which I think is truly wonderful. And I
Thank
like
you.
that probably has attracted a lot of people to your business and to what you do. I could only
Thank you so
imagine.
much. Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we're running out a little bit on time, so I'm going to go into a two-part question for you. So
Mm.
this one, your career and your business is really obviously dedicated on helping entrepreneurs like unlock their capabilities and their strengths and becoming the best that they could be. So two questions. What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given yourself? And then what is the best piece of advice that you give to your clients?
Mm. The best piece of advice that I think I've been given is like it's okay to take my time. Like, it's okay to not rush because, like, we're here for a long time. And, like, if I'm going to build a sustainable business and a sustainable life, like, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Because if you're constantly looking at what everyone else is doing and comparing yourself, oh my God, I'm sorry. Sorry. Um,
You're totally good.
if you're constantly looking at what everyone else is doing and comparing themselves, comparing yourself to everyone else's progress, you actually really slow yourself down. So for me,
Mhm.
it was like hearing that, like, it's okay, like, you can take your time, especially as like a millennial and somebody who is always trying to keep up with the education and with the certifications and always trying to achieve. I think it was really important for me to hear that like, you can take your time. And then I think in terms of my clients, I think when I the the biggest piece of advice would probably be around like worthiness, and like, it's never the work to prove that you're worthy, it's the work for you to believe that you're worthy. So that's kind of like, it's kind of saying how you are worthy regardless, so you are worthy the second you like came out of the womb because of who you are. The work is in you believing that. So it's the work that you have to do. It's not you trying to prove to somebody else that you're good enough. You need to show yourself that you're good enough. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
I love that. That is so
That's good.
simple. Simple and very effective. Those are great pieces of
Definitely.
advice. So as we're rounding out, probably, honestly, I want to leave it at that because I think that those are just such important lessons that people could take away, like whether they are business owners, entrepreneurs, but also just like people in general. With your business, just one more quick question. Do you work
Mhm.
with strictly entrepreneurs, or do you work with individuals who are struggling with imposter syndrome and want to just get over that obstacle?
Yeah, so I definitely am certified and able to work with anyone who is experiencing imposter syndrome, whether that's in their corporate career or as a business owner. However, like, I do primarily work with business owners who have online service-based businesses, but I am open. I've worked with a lot of different people, especially in the corporate setting as well, so I am open to that.
Cool. That's
Mhm.
awesome because just in case there's a listener out there who
Definitely.
hears this and would love to talk to you, obviously your handles and everything are going to be in the comments, but
Mhm.
that's that. So yeah, we're at time right now. So Jill, thank you so much for coming on to the show today and sharing your incredible wisdom and knowledge with us. It's so greatly appreciated. And everyone at home, all of Jill's links and handles will be in the comment section below. So please do yourself a favor and go follow her and have some positivity and change your mindset for the better. We are here for it. I am looking forward to seeing you all this Monday for another awesome episode of the Pick Me Up podcast. And I hope you all have an amazing Thursday and an amazing rest of your week.